This is a pretty interesting development here from AT&T. It looks like they want to get additional, they call it DoD spectrum, but it's the 3.45 gigahertz spectrum that's in the lower part of N77. You guys are aware of C-band. You know about N77 already. But this would be an interesting development because there's a rule. There's a specific rule tied to the 3.45 gigahertz that limits the amount of bandwidth a company can own in that frequency range. So right now, the rules according to the FCC is set at 40 megahertz. And when that spectrum was auctioned, AT&T maxed out. They went 40 megahertz nationwide. And in the process of all that, basically nobody has built any of this except AT&T. And now AT&T wants to deepen the ability to widen those channels and 77 through the 3.45 gigahertz. And they want to buy more of this spectrum from some Spectrum Holdings speculators. This is private equity. So you guys have heard of these companies before. mmWave, Columbia Capital. These guys own spectrum that T-Mobile deploys, that AT&T deploys. Obviously, EchoStar and Dish comes into play. They own the 3.45 licenses too. And you could bet your bottom dollar that AT&T would definitely want to get involved, right? If they were to become available for purchase and all those kind of things. But the reason why this is notable is because a few years ago, AT&T was actually complaining to the FCC about T-Mobile getting a whole bunch of spectrum and them not getting screened, right? So it didn't work. The FCC did not step in or intervene against T-Mobile, and they kind of let them do their thing after Sprint. But yeah, I think I'm okay with this, actually. I'm okay with, AT&T requesting a waiver from the FCC to go beyond the 40 megahertz cap for the DoD. I'm actually perfectly fine with it, and I think it's the right thing to do because AT&T is the only company actually putting the spectrum on air. Dish hasn't built anything out. Columbia Capital, they're just holding it. Same thing with mmWave. Nobody's building this stuff except AT&T. So if it gets into the hands of a builder, I don't see how the nation, the general public, loses. I really don't. So I'm kind of hoping that they actually get this approved. I'm actually hoping that they can buy more. Like they got some of the spectrum from US Cellular. I'm hoping that the waiver is actually granted. And I'm not really a pro AT&T guy. I'm not really a big fan of how they conduct business. But nobody else is building this stuff. So I feel very strongly that it should happen and the FCC should approve and provide the waiver. And I think the 40 megahertz screen or temporary restriction, that should be ending soon anyways. But it might be like a year out or something like that. If I remember correctly, it's still got some time. They may be trying to accelerate it, right? So they want to get the spectrum from US Cellular. They want to get the spectrum from mmWave. They'll probably try to buy it from Columbia Capital. If they were to be able to increase their bandwidth to like 60 megahertz, right? Because now they have 80 megahertz of C-band, and then if they were to add an additional 20, puts them at like 60 of DoD. That's kind of good. And if Dish becomes available, they can get that too. I'm perfectly fine with it as long as they're serving the public with the connection, right? So they're selling AT&T Internet Air and customers on the mobility services are enjoying it, that sort of thing. I don't want spectrum in the hands of holdings companies. I just don't give a shit about that type of scenario. The best scenario is it's on air being broadcasted from radios from any MNO. I mean, hell, if Dish was broadcasting it, I'd say, yeah, I don't want AT&T getting it, but they're not. They're just not. So this is a huge development. This is very good, in my opinion. AT&T being active, advocating to get additional access to these licenses. And it's going to cost. They're going to have to spend some money, but it would be good for their company. It would be good for the industry. It'd be good for customers. I really don't see why the FCC would not allow it. I mean, so what? It beats the spectrum screen or the restriction by a few months. Who cares? It's better than it sitting on the sidelines. What do you guys think? Should AT&T be granted this waiver? Should that waiver get approved? Or do you think they should be held to it and just have to wait it out? What do you guys think of spectrum holdings companies like speculators? It's annoying. But anyways, tell me what you think. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on this development. Like, share, subscribe, drop me some comments. Check out some more of our videos. We'll see you guys on the next one.